So now that the Sixers roster is all but filled out, I know we can all admit that there are a lot of expectations with this team, and with expectations comes pressure. But the question is, who has the most pressure? We will talk about that and a whole bunch more on today's show. Let's go.
Perfect.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into Philly Take with RB, number one show, bringing the passion to the fans, man. Always breaking it down. You know what to do, man. Hit that thumbs up button. It helps the show tremendously. Take a half a second out of your day and help us out, man. Let's get to 500 likes on this video. Subscribe to the show if you are new and hit the bell so you don't miss any of the content. We are one day closer to training camp, ladies and gentlemen, and that means one day closer to breaking it all down. We will be providing in-depth coverage all year, every angle, everything that you need to see. So subscribe to the show, man, and continue to support. Today we are back, and I want to talk about who has the most pressure on this team, right? The last couple of days, people are starting to settle in now with the Montrezl Harrell signing. Sure, there are people still overreacting, but at the end of the day, the results are what matter. And right now on paper, we are a whole hell of a lot better than we were a couple months ago. I think Daryl Morey has had a phenomenal offseason. We will talk about that more. But I want to start off with just a question of the day, if you will. And I want your answer. So drop them down below in the comment section. Give me an answer and give me an explanation as to why. But who has the most pressure leading into this upcoming season? Is it James Harden? Or is it Doc Rivers? Let me know your answers down below. And if there is another answer that you have, Joel Embiid, Daryl Morey, whatever, drop them down below and let me know why. Before we discuss that, I want to talk quickly about another subject, man. And that is this Daryl Morey's best offseason ever? I've been pondering this over the last 24 hours, and I definitely want to hear from Sixers Nation. First and foremost, look at this picture, man. Look at this graphic. This is the new Sixers squad, man. Gritty, tough, ready to ball. I will put this team up against anyone, man. Obviously, I don't, think that we're fully complete. I can't say that right now we are the championship favorites, but this team will compete for a championship this year, and I'm really excited. I'm not going to go ahead and give you a history lesson today. You can do your own research, but all I can say is that in terms of Daryl Morey, he is hungry just like the rest of us, right? He has escalated. He's been there. He's been around, but he has not hit the peak of the mountain, and he wants to win a championship before it is all said and done. And he watched this team. I always say he's like a fan of the game. He's not just one of those executives that sit up in his office and enjoy a drink, feet kicked back. No, he's enticed. He's into the game, man. And I remember at the exit press conference a couple months ago, he was out of breath. He was almost crying. He wants to win bad. And he addressed the needs of this team this offseason. And honestly, if you go down the line, look at his historical off seasons, right? Whether it's trading for James Harden before in Houston, trading for Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, we can go down the line. Yes, he has made big splashes. Yes, it usually goes star for star. But this offseason, he went a different route, and he looked specifically at the needs of the team. He saw that this team is not too far off, and he looked at the exact needs that we had, and he went out and addressed all of them, in my opinion. Sure, I think the bench might need some more help as we get into the season. Sure, a lot of teams go into the season. They take time to mesh and have that chemistry come together, and they make reinforcements as the season goes on. Obviously, a little bit harder as the Sixers are hard capped, but I just think all in all, this is Daryl Morey's best offseason of his career because he has now put this team in position to battle with anybody. I'll say it again. This team is a top 3 team in the East, and I think they're probably a top 5 lineup in the NBA, and I think they can battle with anybody, and I cannot wait to see it all come together. If it's not his best offseason ever, it has to be a top 2 or top 3. No drama, just going out and addressing the needs, and if you take Daryl Morey out of it, just look strictly at the Sixers, I honestly would say maybe over the last decade, this is the best offseason that we have had in a very, very, very long time. And this is the most excited I've been about the team. I think this is the most polished version that we've had. They are complete, and I think the only way to go up is up. So I'm really, really, really excited. I can't wait to see how it comes together. All right, give me your thoughts on that. We will talk about what needs to be talked about. The question of the day, who has the more pressure on this team? Is it Doc Rivers or James Harden? I've been thinking long and hard about this for a couple weeks now. And honestly, being 100% with you guys, I don't know the answer. I still cannot come up with an answer. If I had to pick one, I would lean more towards Doc Rivers. And here is why. Here is why. The Sixers went out and they addressed pretty much their biggest need, which was just that mental toughness, right? These guys admitted after that playoff series, even going back last year after the Atlanta series, we were not tough enough. We should have won that series. We were not mentally prepared. We gave up an 18-point lead, a 26-point lead this season. Obviously, Joel Embiid being injured was huge. Harden wasn't 100%, but we were not tough. We got ran out of the gym on our home floor. It was bad. We needed to go out and get some toughness. You bring in PJ Tucker, you bring in Melton, you bring in Montrezl Harrell. Daryl Morey did exactly what he could. And if somehow we come out this year in a big game, in a big matchup, in a big playoff series, and we come out mentally weak and we're not ready for the moment, there's nobody else I can look to other than Doc Rivers, right? And you've had a lot of talent. Now, he has won a championship, but people do say all the time, it was with 4 Hall of Famers, and it was in 2008. Doc Rivers has been around the game for 35 years. Since then, he has blown multiple playoff leads. He has had immense talent. Players have said things about him. And honestly, the biggest thing for me is that he has put the target on his back. All right. That's not to say nobody else has immense pressure. James Harden has immense pressure, but Doc Rivers, unlike James Harden, didn't go out and say all the right things. No, Doc Rivers is known by Sixers fans as being arrogant, as being stubborn, right? As using his methodology, and he knows what's best, and that's fine, but you have to produce, you have to, show the results. And honestly, I don't know if this is a hot take or not. You let me know, but I'm out here declaring right now, this Sixers team, as currently constructed, if healthy, that is a big if, the Sixers need to be healthy. Any team that gets injured or one of their major players goes down, they're not going to win the championship, okay? We need to stay healthy, and that's a big if. But if fully healthy, I truly believe this Sixers team must get to the Eastern Conference Finals at least. If they do not, you might have to blow it up. You might have to trade 1 or 2 big pieces. You got to fire Doc. All of it, man. You have to get to the Eastern Conference Finals for once. I mean, Joel Embiid has gotten injured 4 out of the last 5 seasons going down the stretch, but he's battled through. He didn't have enough help. And it always seems that something bottoms out with this team. This is the squad to get over the hump, and I think you need to make it happen. In terms of James Harden, though, the case for the other side, James Harden, like I said, took a team-friendly deal. He's going to be more motivated to try to prolong his career, get another contract, and honestly, he hasn't won a championship, just like Daryl Morey, just like Joel Embiid. He wants to get over that hump and prove to everybody that last season was not the fully healthy James Harden, and that he is ready to come out here and show glimpses of the old vintage James Harden and help be a main propeller in this team getting to a championship. And I think he wants to be here. I think he wants to do it with his old pal Daryl Morey. Morey riling up the old Rockets. We're literally trying to finish the unfinished business that they had in Houston. And, there's a lot of pressure on James Harden. He has to come out and be a colossal force. We know that. I personally don't believe he needs to be the Houston version, but he needs to be very efficient. And if he can take some of that load off Joel Embiid and coincide with Tyrese Maxey, this team can be very good. And he has a ton of pressure, like I said, both for the team and for himself. But honestly, I don't know. Obviously, Joel Embiid has a lot of pressure, but I expect him to come out and continue to get better with the pace he is on. And it's weird because usually we talk about guys like Joel, 28, 29, in their prime. No, honestly, I feel like we may have a couple chances left. Given the injury history of Embiid, we don't know how long he's going to play. Sure, he can prolong himself. He might be in a different role later in his career, but this is the best basketball we have seen from Joel Embiid. We expect him to come out here and play well. Obviously, if he gets injured, that's a different story. He has not had the best luck. But given the fact if he is healthy, you have to come out here and produce. This is literally the best shot. You have no excuses, man. You have to get it done. I feel like there's that impatient sense with the Sixers, and I think that's why we're making all these win now type of moves. You bring in PJ Tucker, who's been to the NBA Finals, won a ring, has been to the Eastern Conference Finals the last 2 years. You bring in Montrezl Harrell, who had success with Doc, who has more experience, who can play that backup five. You bring in these guys with experience because Daryl Morey sees, the writing on the wall, and, he realizes that if we don't get it done within the next couple of years, major changes will have to be made. James Harden has to be a huge force, but honestly, I'm looking at the head coach to get it done. I'm looking at him to get it done if fully healthy. You need to go out here and you need to put this team together. No excuses, no off nights, right? Usually you can tell midway into a season, right, when a team's a championship caliber squad. Do they have that DNA? And we added the pieces to be able to say that we are, but will we go out there and prove it? No more arrogant moments, man. And I know it's a tough say, but we can't have that. We can't have those distractions. And now we don't have the biggest distraction of all of it from last year. We don't have the drama of Al Horford the year before. We don't have any of that. We can just focus on ball. And I'm really excited for the squad. And to be honest, I would probably lean towards Doc Rivers, but it's an interesting conversation. I think everybody across the board has pressure. The question is, will this be the year? Will we live up to it? And honestly, I can't wait to see how it plays out. It is going to be a good season. We'll be covering it all. Give me your thoughts on this down below in the comments section. Is this a must-win year? How far do we have to get? Give me all your thoughts. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And like always, I will catch you on the next one. Peace.
Perfect.